Hello YouTube, Contrarian dude here. And so Donald Trump's just released a statement saying that his comments about the judge has been misconstrued. It's like, well, duh, you don't need to tell Trump supporters or anybody with a half a brain that that's what's going on. It happens almost daily, but at least several times a week. Just in this week alone, there was the instance where he said, hey, where's my African American, where's my African American? That was a statement. Where's my African American into a large crowd? And just the media blows it up, makes this huge thing about it, and it's just never ending how the media will go out of their way to take the least likely yet most offensive interpretation of anything that Trump is saying. Let's just go through just a few of them that have happened just over the last few weeks. First, the judge, the Latino judge, the Mexican judge. Okay, here's a bad statement. Here's a racist statement. Because the judge is Mexican, he's incapable of doing his job and being an impartial judge in my trial. That's a racist statement. That's a bad statement. Anyone who said that should be condemned. Here's what, I'm not going to pull out the quotes, but here's what Trump meant when he said what he said. And what he said was closer to what I'm about to say. The judge is handing out really bad decisions. It is clear that he is biased. I don't know if he's biased because he's donated to the Democrat Party. He's a big donor of the Democrat Party, and he sees this as a way to help the Democratic Party by keeping me occupied in this lawsuit. I don't know if it's because he owes Obama a favor because he's an Obama-appointed judge, or I don't know if it's because he's Mexican, he has Mexican sympathies, and I'm talking about building a wall to keep out illegal immigrants. There's nothing racist, there's nothing not sensible about that statement. It's perfectly reasonable and perfectly rational. And you can see it, but the media is choosing to interpret it as the first option. Because the judge is Mexican, he can't possibly be a good judge and do his job properly and fairly. That is not what he meant, and everybody knows it. And it doesn't need to be explained to any Trump supporters. And that's why the Trump supporters just have such hatred towards the media, because this goes on and on. Let's go to the African American statement. He said, quote, where's my African American in the crowd? Now, the previous sentences, he said, and I don't know exactly what they were, but it's clear if you watch it, he was talking about supporters like, where's my women's supporters? Where's my Latino supporters? Where's my African American? And he turns around and starts looking for the guy that he just met a little while ago and wants to point him out in the stage. Now, I record videos all the time, so I'm acutely aware of how many verbal gaffes I make when because I have to watch these videos back and go, oh, damn, that doesn't make sense. That's not what I said. I have to go and re-edit it. So when you have Donald Trump, who has just hours upon hours upon hours every single day, camera in his face, off-the-cuff talks, for him to drop a word like supporter, where's my African-American supporter, as opposed to where's my African-American, then, now, so the media interprets this as Trump thinks he owns him. Like, it's possessive. Where is my African American? Like it's my possession, like we're living in 1822 and slavery still exists. That's how the media chooses to interpret that, rather than the obvious one of, it's just he dropped the word supporter, and it was because he got distracted because he was thinking of a specific guy and went around the crowd and actually looked for him and tried to eyeball him. It's just never ending. What about when the media said Donald Trump wants South Korea to go nuclear, and Japan and everybody else? Not what was said. Donald Trump was explaining to the reporter, we provide services to these people. Now, we provide protection, military protection for Japan, South Korea, many other nations. He said, when we're going in to negotiate for how much they should pay us, if we tell them, this is how Hillary would do it. Okay, South Korea, you've got a madman on your northern border. He wants to invade you. We're currently protecting you. Let's say for round numbers it costs us $100 billion per year to protect you. Now, you need to pay us for that. How much are you going to pay us? But before you answer, you should know that it's really important to us that you don't develop a nuclear weapon, you don't develop an army, and it's so important to us that we're going to provide this service to you no matter how little you pay us, South Korea. So how much are you going to pay us? Well, obviously, we get the rough end of the stick with idiots negotiating for us like that. What Donald Trump was explaining is you have to go into the conversation like this. If you want to do it yourself, you can do it for yourself. But we can do it, we're really good at it, we have efficiencies at it, we have economies of scale at it, we're the best provider of protection in the world, we're already doing it for other people, it only costs us $100 billion a year, it'd probably cost you $1 or $2 trillion per year to do it for yourself because you don't have those economies of scale. How about you pay us $200 or $300 billion for the service? That's what Donald Trump was explaining, and the media goes out and says, Donald Trump wants South Korea to go nuclear, wants Japan to become a nuclear state. Constant lies from the mainstream media. It's so tiring and so boring for people who actually, if you watch Trump live and watch his events, you don't fall for any of this nonsense because you know exactly what he says and the context with which he says it. But this is a message for the people out there. If all you're doing is you're watching CNN or the Young Turks or Rachel Maddow or any of these stupid leftist echo chambers where they'll take a little snippet, they'll show a slice, they'll cut the sentence off, and they'll give you this one little thing, and then they'll tell you how you should interpret it and why you should be angry and why is it racist and why you're a bigot. Of course you're going to be the useful idiot in the street who goes up and sucker punches people. Of course you're going to be the people who fills a bag with rocks and slaps somebody in the back of the head while they're not looking. You're going to be violent. You're going to be, because you're constantly fed lies that this person is doing this. I'll give you another, the degree to which people delude themselves and how much they believe the news. This was what really, really struck me. Megyn Kelly, so after Trump was going to do an event in Chicago, that event got cancelled. Huge protests on the streets of Chicago. In the aftermath of that, Megyn Kelly did an interview with one of the organizers. One of the best, one of the brightest, the guys with the megaphones, the one educating the thousands of idiots on the streets, saying, this is what Trump says, this is what he does, this is why we're here protesting, right? One of the organizers went on Megyn Kelly and said, the reason we're protesting is because Donald Trump said, make America white again. Now, Megyn Kelly corrected him immediately, but can you believe the stupidity of people? How delusional do you have to be to think that the Republican nominee could say something that racist and that stupid and that he would have the widespread support that he gets? That person's, to believe that statement, that person must have such a warped belief system that they're living in the most racist times where just, it's mind-blowing that his view of the world could be that half of America, approximately half of America, could support a person who would believe that or advocate for that. But when all you do is you live in the echo chamber of the left and you just hear idiot after idiot telling you a little half sentence and how you should interpret it, and that this is what's happening and America's going to hell because everyone's racist and everyone who supports Trump is racist, this is the consequence of this, and this is where the violence starts with the media lying to the population. And for the love of God, people, as soon as you hear one of these stories, Donald Trump said, turn it off, go to YouTube, watch the live broadcast, see it firsthand, and decide what you think he meant. Because the media is causing so much trouble and so much violence, and the blood is on their hands.